Hello fellow egoists, today we'll be doing a tier list of close to every character in Blue Lock and specifically their standing while ranking them as accurately as possible. So, let's talk about the tiers first. First we have world class. So what does world class mean? It means that all of the players there are players that stand on the top of the world stage, being, for example, the Champions League, meaning that they're players who you can put on any team and will do well, okay? That's the basis for world class, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward. World class of the U20. What do I say by that? The meaning behind that is pretty basic. If you get a player in this tier, it means that they could even stand as a pro player and play on the world stage. They wouldn't necessarily be the best, but they would be able to stand on the world stage. For example, you could put Rin into a pro playing team, and he would be able to do well. This is the basis for world class of the U20. Then we have first class, meaning that the players can do well. They could play pro, but just not to the extent of the world class players of the U20, as we said. Standard U20 player, and then the mid face-off. So let's start first by going for the world class. So of course, we'll put our dear Noah in this place. I mean, there is no denying that. We don't know much about Noah. Some things we do know is that, of course, his main ability being ambidextrous. I don't know how you say it. Anyway. But the most important part for me is that Noah seems, or at least has been quote-unquote foreshadowed to have metavision. The arguments for that are pretty simple. In the Ubers match, we see regularly how Noah is able to link up with Isagi, and Isagi says it himself. The only reason why Bastard Muchin was able to hold off this long was because Noah was syncing up and reading the attacks of Ubers, as well as him and Kaiser. And generally, we also have the fact that Isagi, for example, wasn't able to comprehend Noah's off-the-ball movement before he got metavision back in the Borussia match. So we have here a striker who doesn't necessarily have the best brain, but has metavision, or at least can be theorized to have metavision, and is able to hold himself in close to any position, score from any place, really, thanks to being ambidextrous. So of course, Noah in first. There is no denying that. Secondly, of course, Chris Prince is just, at this point, is just in the lower, right? Chris Prince, what feats do we have? Of course, his insane, most random shot in the world, which was honestly pretty funny to see. But yeah, not much to say honestly about Chris Prince. He's great coach, great master for the Manshine team. Really enjoy his philosophy, and yeah. So now this will probably shock some people, but I won't put Snuffy behind Chris Prince as third. Instead, I'll be putting our dear Lavinho. Okay, where is he? Right there. I'll be putting Lavinho, and I'll be putting Snuffy right after him. So what is the basis? I know this can be controversial, but the basis is this. While Snuffy has much more impact in a game, you can put Snuffy in the midfield, in defense, probably as a goalie. And he will have the playmaking, he will have the dribbling, he will have pretty much everything. But from what we have seen, if you put both Lavinho and Snuffy in a Champions League match, who would have the it factor? If the stakes become the highest, who would you rather have on your team? A Lavinho in full flow doing his best while dribbling, or Snuffy who will still be restricting himself to playmaking, etc. That's the thing. From what we've seen, at least, Lavinho seems much more like a it player, a player who can turn the tides by himself when the stakes are at the highest compared to Snuffy. But the thing is also that we haven't seen much of Snuffy's finishing. We know that Snuffy has a Predator Eye since he was able to teach it to Barrow, but we haven't seen his finishing when it comes to that. So maybe his heading, his curved shots could be something that could put him over Lavinho, but I would rather have a Lavinho on my team who's able to raise up the stakes, to be there when needed, compared to a Snuffy who at least so far, had a killed ego, you could say. And that was awakened thanks to the King Barrel. So yeah, this is the basis for this. And then, of course, we're going to put... and so, yeah, this is a bit... Okay. I am not putting Loki here, okay? I am sorry to Loki fans, but for me, the one who deserves that place is Luna. What is the basis of that? Simply in the... At least we haven't seen much feats, that's the thing. But in terms of what we know, Luna is called the scion of Real Madrid, the biggest club in the world currently. And I mean, in general, we can clearly call at this point Real Madrid the best club in the world. So to have someone called the prince of that club as a striker, this reputation is just something you need to take into account. And so because of this, I'll be putting Luna above Loki, and Loki right below. Now, Loki, we haven't seen much again, so we're just going more so by reputation. The ace of Real Madrid versus the ace of PSG. I mean, I'm a PSG fan, okay, but I'm also a Real Madrid fan at my core, so what can I say? I like Rodrigo. I don't like Bellingham, but I like Rodrigo. I'll just say this. Anyway, to continue, and then I'll be putting our dear World 5. For the World 5, I'll be honest, I don't have much. We don't have much to go off of. But I'll be putting this guy, I don't remember his name, for whatever reason, above, mostly because he's playing in the Premier League. We don't know for the rest. But he's playing in the Premier League and was the top scorer, if I remember correctly, of the Premier League. And that's just an achievement you need to talk about, right? And he seems to be based off on Eden Hazard, so... He's there, he's out here. Either Eden Hazard or Beckham. Yeah, mostly Beckham. Yeah, it should be Beckham. What am I saying? Anyway, so this I consider the world class. Okay. Now for the world class of the U20. All of this is ranked. So now for the world class of the U20 being ranked. Who do we put at the top? I'll say this, it's not Kaiser. You'll probably be shocked by who I put at the top, where I put Kaiser. But at the top of the world class of the U20, I'll be putting Sae. The basis is simple. Sae is just that guy, okay? From the feats we have seen, he's just that guy. He's renowned on the world stage as an insane midfielder playing for Real Madrid. That sort of feat, once again, it's similar for Luna. Being considered one of the best prodigies in the world at such a young age and playing for Real Madrid is an understatement. And we have seen Bellingham, the phenomenon, play. So Sae, for me at least, from the feats we have gotten and from the fact, most importantly, that Sae doesn't have the insecurities that a one such as Kaiser has, makes me, in my opinion, have him deserve the spot as a world class, the best in the U20 world class. Because even if Kaiser has the potential, even if Kaiser has the abilities, he simply lacks the mental, and this is how he got beaten by Isak in the Ubers match. But I'll get to that later. So, we have world class of the U20, of course, our dear Sae Itoshi. I'll be putting, right after that, his brother, Rin. The idea is simple. Rin is currently one of the best scorers in the NL. Has been hinted at to have Metavision and the Predator Eye. Metavision we have seen him already use back in the U20 match, with the panels where you see the grid-like design on the field of Metavision, and also see him generally analyzing the field really well. And for the Predator Eye, we've already seen him use it back in the tryouts just before the U20 match, where he used Shido as a blind spot and then shot. And also in his light novel, we do know that he has been said to see the field through a bird's eye view, which is basically Metavision, and also be able to see the weakness in the goalkeeper, which we could call basically the Predator Eye. And so with two world-class abilities that are based on reading the field, and along with his insane shooting technique, Rin, at least in my opinion, is currently the best striker in the U20 division. Right after him, I'll be putting Isagi. Now, you might be shitting yourself about the fact that Kaiser is not there, but the idea is simple. Isagi, first off, has beaten Kaiser as a striker. Does that mean that Isagi is necessarily better than Kaiser? We could say honestly yes. I'll be honest, because the thing is, the Ubers match was special to rank those two because they were both at high stakes. They were both in such hard positions because Isagi needed to fight off literally all of Ubers except Lorenzo, but for a certain time. And Kaiser needed to beat Lorenzo at his own game and be able to basically get past him, right? So both were at really high stakes, but the one who was able to push through was Isagi. And an important thing, a really important thing that I rarely see people talk about is the fact that Lorenzo stopped man-marking Kaiser for the last part of the match. When Hiyori was on the field, Lorenzo stopped man-marking Kaiser. And this is really important because it means that when this happened, Kaiser, instead of doing whatever he wanted and generally showing himself off, what did he do? He tried to go for a hyena playstyle and take the chances, the opportunities that Isagi created instead of creating them himself. And we have seen him. He even failed when Lorenzo wasn't on him when the kickoff happened. So, while of course there is the fact that Lorenzo was on Kaiser for most of the match, even when Lorenzo left him, Kaiser wasn't able to score and he only tried to steal chances of Isagi. And for this reason, I'll be putting Kaiser even lower because how good, who cares? Let's say this clearly. Who cares how good you are if when it matters, you don't score? That's the entire essence, as Igo Jinpachi says, of a striker. They appear when soccer is the hottest. And for that reason, I won't be putting Kaiser even below Isagi. Instead, I'll be putting Barrow right after Isagi. The reason is simple. Barrow has shown leadership. He was able to, quote-unquote, usurp, to steal Ubers, but still lead them like a king, you could say. Nah, not necessarily like a king, but I don't want the Barrow stance to be on my ass. But Barrow has shown leadership through his ego, as Hiyori says. He was able to make Ubers evolve, and most importantly, he has shown some of the best finishing in the U20 division as we have seen so far. His double nutmeg against both Isagi and Kaiser is one of a kind, and generally Barrow just has so many options. He didn't use them all, but we have seen that he's able to do headers, he's able to do curved shots, he's able to do slider shots. He just has way too much versatility when it comes to finishing. So because of that, I'll be putting him in this position, and most importantly because he has the mental aspect. He has that it factor, and he doesn't hide from it, he doesn't shy from it. Right below him, and following the bids, you could say, I'll be putting Shido. Do I put Shido? It's a bit hard. Even now I'm still thinking about it, but do I put Kaiser or Shido? You know what? Let's say that they're pretty much... No, let's put Shido above Kaiser. I'll be honest, fuck Kaiser. I'm sorry, but he just doesn't have the mental. No matter how good your capabilities are, if you start shitting yourself and choking yourself to death when you can't score, you're not that guy. It's just... Anyway. Shido, not much to say because we haven't actually seen his growth yet, but from the bids, we have seen that at least he's around there, right? Next, I'll be putting... Do I really put Bachira over Kaiser? I'll be putting Bachira... No. Okay, fuck it, I'll be putting Bachira above Kaiser. Because once again, Bachira has shown that. No, you know what? I won't be putting Bachira, mostly because Bachira hasn't shown that he was able to do a super goal against Ubers, but Kaiser also did a super goal against Ubers. But the thing is, again, Bachira doesn't have the best of teams in the nail, so there's few arguments against him, etc. So, but I'll still be putting him below Kaiser, mostly because Kaiser has that playmaking aspect better than Bachira. Bachira, in my opinion, the one thing that's keeping Bachira from being much higher is first off his team, because he can't use his full potential there, and especially because he has insane playmaking. Bachira is, in my opinion, the best playmaker outside of Rin and Isagi in Blue Lock. Outside of Hiyori and other midfielders, but you get the point, basically. When it comes to playmaking as a striker, Bachira is one of the best. His long passes are one of the most underrated skills he has. His long passes are one of a kind. He was able to play as a fullback because of that in the U20 match. His dribbling, let's not talk about that. We all know how good he is. And the one thing that's holding him back, honestly, is just his finishing. If he had a bit more power, if he had a bit more variations, I could honestly put him even above Barrow, but he lacks it, so I just can't put him there. I just can't put him above Barrow or Shido because of that. But Bachira, insane potential. Like, if he unlocks better shooting, he will be that guy. Okay, now we'll be putting Chigiri after Bachira. Chigiri, defensive, insane defense. Not necessarily insane defense, but we have seen that as a winger, in my opinion, he's the perfect winger, the offensive type that still works defensively. He's like, I mean, Loki is Mbappe, but to me, Chigiri has the potential to become the Mbappe if he actually did his job defensively. Because, I mean, if you watch football, you know that's Mbappe's big flaw. He's just walking when it comes to defense. But anyway, yeah, Chigiri, just insane potential, and he has shown himself throughout the nail. But yeah, it is what it is. Okay, Lorenzo. I'll be putting Lorenzo around. You know what? I'll be even putting him. Yeah, no, Lorenzo is just that guy. What am I saying? How did I even think of not putting him there? Yeah, no, Lorenzo is just that guy. Playmaking, dribbling. We've seen his stats. 99 in defense. Dribbling, playmaking. I'm sure he could even work in finishing. In my opinion, Lorenzo is currently best used as a center back. But if he gains some experience, if he gains a little bit more football IQ, because we have seen that he still lacks a bit. For example, Kaiser's goal in the Ubers match came from the fact that Lorenzo took the safe option by tagging Yukimiya instead of going for the interception. So if he gains a bit more ego, which he has gotten a bit more ego actually in the Ubers match, we've seen him taking more bold risks. And this is what paid off, because, for example, he even baited Isagi and Kaiser thanks to that by using more of his football IQ. So if he uses more of his football IQ through experience, I could see him moving up, for example, to the defensive midfielder spot. And there he would be an absolute beast, okay? Man marking, passing, dribbling, he would be insane. As a 6, he would be absolutely insane. A 6 or even deeper, but anyway. Yeah, he's just that guy, and we have seen that when the stakes come. But he still has his biggest issues for now are the aerial parts. Every time the ball has been in the air, he hasn't been able to do much, and his football IQ, as I said. But that's things he can work on with experience. And for now, you can 100% put him in a pro match in the UCL, and he will be able to do good. Not necessarily do insane, but he would be able to do well. Kunigami. Kunigami is a bit of a weird story. The thing with Kunigami is that he has insane potential. We've seen. I've made some posts. I don't think I've made a post, but I've made in my videos. I typically talk about the fact that Kunigami has great positioning, always putting him in a position where at least one defender is on him, creating space for others. I've made a whole video about Isagi's play, last play for the Manshine match, and how Kunigami helped in that aspect. And so yeah, no, he's just great. But similarly to Kaiser, the mental aspect is just not there. He lacks, first off, the ability to use others, and secondly, he's just he isn't using his strength. He isn't using his strength. Because, for example, his shooting technique, he's used it for a volley, good, but he's not using space more, and he's the type who you could put a bit. Of course, he's perfect as a traditional 9, so a pure, quote-unquote, pure striker, as they call it on Reddit, even though it's dumb as hell. But if he at least did something similar to Isagi, which is about, okay, I'll work with you, but I'll still devour you, then he could do something. But because he's so hung up on being alone, and this is himself, he's putting himself in that situation, he can't use his strengths. So for example, back in the U20 match, Isagi said, I'll bait Barrow into his zone for a shoot and I'll try to steal a goal there. Kunigami could do the same thing. I bait Isagi by, okay, I'm going to help him get into the box, but right before the box, I use my lefty shot with my insane technique and even a knuckleball technique, which is something he has in his arsenal, or at least he can develop, and then we'll be able to do things. But he's just not using his strengths in the correct way. So yeah, I think this position is good for him. Then right after that, I would put Reo. Reo, I would put. Reo is he's a tough thing to crack. Raw capability is insane. Metavision, copy ability, which he could go even further, but I'll talk about that in another video. Dribbling, he could be. He is the king of all trades, but he's not using it. He's still so hung up on Nagi that he. Honestly, if, let's say, Reo isn't hung up on Nagi, I can put him near here, even further, if he develops his strength. So because, once again, we are taking in the mental aspect, I gotta put him around, yeah, here, basically, yeah. Right above Kunigami, but below Chigiri. Mostly because Chigiri has that mental. He lacks the capability still, but he has the mental. Let's see, Hiyori, because of Metavision, I need to put him around here, yeah, perfect. The thing is, Hiyori has insane passes, insane dribbling, not to the level of Sai, for example, but the one thing I really enjoy about Hiyori's dribbling is that it's not necessarily the best. Like, for example, his dribbling isn't, of course, on Bachira's level or things like that, but its strength lies in how he uses it through Metavision. When he moves, when he's dribbling, he's not dribbling just for the sake of it. He's always having an idea. He's always using his field of vision to be sure of what he will be doing. And that's the thing, right? Even Isagi doesn't have the best of dribbling, but because of Metavision, he's able to do the correct choices. So yeah, the problem why I can't put him higher is mostly because, first off, we only see him for one goal, and most importantly, we haven't seen him use his own expectations. And this is an important part, and I mean, that was his whole character arc, right? But the thing is, for example, Sae, what made him strong in the U20 match is that he was forcing the ideas. He was the main playmaker, he was doing everything. But for Hiyori, the only time we've seen him put his own expectations was for the final goal of the match in Ubers. So we haven't seen Hiyori's playmaking when it comes to creating his own plays and choosing the right person. So because of that, I can't rate him higher. We just haven't seen enough. We just don't know what he has in store. So yeah, I think this is a perfect place for him, at least currently. Great stats. I mean, we don't know his stats, but great feats for now, and yeah, we'll see. Okay, so for the world class, we do have to put Nagy, but Nagy is a tough nut to crack. Similarly to Reo, I need to make a whole video about the guy, but all I'll say is he has the capabilities, of course, and the mental, once again. I don't even need to say much. All I'll say is Nagy doesn't... I would even put him in first class at this point, because he's not... all he's doing really is following a rail. He's not putting his own twist on it, so... He's right on the border of first class, in my opinion. Nico. I would put him in first class. Even though he has metavision, which shouldn't quote-unquote earn him the spot of world class. As I said, what I define by world class of U20 is players who would be able to go on the world stage in the pro play and still do well. Not necessarily the best, but still do well. And the thing is, Nico's strengths come in his brain, of course. Not his physicals, but like we've seen him link up with the backline perfectly in the Ubers match. He's the reason, for example, that Lorenzo was able to block Kaiser's shot, which I explain in my chapter analysis of that chapter. But yeah, so the strengths of Nico are like playmaking, passing, great defense. Not great defense in the sense that he's the one who structures the defense. So he's the one who will take the risk, take the interceptions, etc. So great player, but I can't see him currently. He lacks not only the physicals. I mean, he's only 15. Insane potential, only 15. One thing to note. But I can't see him, for example, on the pro stage. Yeah, you know what? Fuck Nagy. Fuck you. You're not going to pro. Like Nagy wouldn't be able to do shit on the pro level. So yeah, I'll peg him down a notch. So yeah, to go back to Nico, great potential, and just lacks for now more experience using metavision, because we have seen that he's not the best at it yet. And yeah, just more experience, just more time to grow. I can't be too rough on him currently. It's just inexperience. Okay, Aiku. Where do I put him? We'll be putting him... You know what? Around here, yeah, around here. Seems good. Above Kaiser, of course, metavision, so great reading, not on the level of Kaiser, for example, but metavision when you're a defender is a bit different, because whereas Isagi and Kaiser, for example, as strikers have much more freedom, when you're a defender, you can't always make rash movements. You have to take in every possibilities, and this is how metavision is used when you're on defense. Instead of just going for straight up interceptions, etc., the way that Nico does, for example, which is his own niche, when you're a defender like Aiku, especially a center back, what you need to do is take in all the possibilities and be ready to react to all of them. And this is how metavision is used for Aiku. He sees everything in terms of probabilities. So it's not that he will be defending against the most probable option. It's simply that he will take in everything he can to be able to react to everything. And this is exactly what he did, for example, against Rain in the U20 match. What he did is that he used metavision to see, okay, will he pass? A normal defender would have been like, okay, I absolutely need to pass. I absolutely need to cut off the passing course to Isagi. But because Aiku was using metavision at that point, he still took in the possibility that Rin would be shooting. And this is how he was able to react by a hair's width, and with his foot was able to graze off the ball just enough that Rin wouldn't score. So yeah, so metavision, great level at reading the field. We've seen his physicals. He was able to hold off Kaiser, close to pocket him when he was playing against Kaiser in off-the-ball movement, as we see in the Ubers match. I mean, all the pictures are probably being shown on screen from my editing. But yeah, no, just great reading of the field, great physicals, athleticism to the T. He's just that guy. Honestly, he's just that guy. The one thing that he lacks currently, in my opinion, would be, how could I say? a bit more dribbling, but he's passing also great passing. That one pass he did for Barrow was succulent, chef's kiss. But he just lacks something. He lacks something to be at the top of the world class, near the likes of Rin or Isagi, in my opinion. He just lacks something. I don't know why. I don't know what exactly right now, but we gotta move on. So after that, let's use Raichi. I'll be putting him around below Nagi, mostly because Raichi lacks the football IQ. Simply, let's put it simply there. But one thing that's really underrated, he always won all of his duels, or at least kept the people at bay. Of course, we have everyone has in mind his fight off against Snuffy, but more important for me is the fact that whenever Raichi was off the ball, whenever you saw him on the screen, he was either winning his duel. For example, if I remember correctly, the cross that Drago did to Snuffy, you saw him winning his duel, or he was at least keeping Lorenzo at bay and forcing Lorenzo to only do one-touch passes instead of simply dribbling with the ball the same way that he did earlier in the match. So we saw that Raichi is able to hold himself off against anyone physically. He just lacks now the reading of the field and more experience as a defensive midfielder or as a center back, because if you've seen my video for the Bastard München 11, you do know that I see Raichi as a center back, at least for the PXG match. Now, Gagamaru, we'll be putting him around here. Not much to say about Gagamaru, just a great goalie. He just lacks a bit more experience now. But I mean, what is experience? It depends, because experience in the world of Blue Lock seems like a hassle to get when you have guys like Rin putting the most insane curvature on their shots. You have Lavinho. I don't know, man. It's for a goalie in Blue Lock, it must be fucking hellish. Rest in peace, Gagamaru. I don't know how you'll do as a pro, but it'll be tough. It'll be tough. I mean, Narura, mid face off. Igaguri, absolute peak. Okay, top of the world. I'm waiting for him to get into top 23. No, but more seriously, I mean, I've talked about it in my latest chapter review, but you do see him training Malaysia on defense against Kiora, or at least that's what it seems like. And I mean, in general, because of narrative reasons, I expect him to at least make top 23, for better and for worse. But yeah, normally he would be at least in standard U20 player, but for the sake of the memes, we're putting him at top of the world, really. We're not talking about those guys that are locked off. Yeah, just yeah. I mean, the elder bro is like mid face off. He's okay. I mean, let's just put them all in mid face off, actually. Tac. I mean, he is playing on the world stage for Menshine, so I guess that's that. Zentetsu, we don't know much. We don't know much. So I'll just put him in standard U20 player. Actually, no, still first class. He got a good bid. RU, I would put him right around here. Why is RU rated so high, even though he's not doing much, quote unquote? The big thing is RU has the potential. You can call him potential, man. RU has the height, and you can say that's all he has. But as a player, that's really huge. Maybe he's not good against players who are quick on their feet, and we've seen it in the U20 match, and we've seen it in the Ubers match against Isagi, for example. But if RU is able to work on his ground game, in the air, he's already the king. The only time we've seen RU lose in the air has been against Dada Silva. Other than that, he always won his duels against Kunigami, against whoever you want. So if he's able to work on his ground game, he would be an absolute beast. And that's why I think clubs are putting such high bids on him. He just has the potential. And he would do great for ads. Okay, Tokimitsu, we'll be putting him in the same. We don't know much yet. But from what we've seen in the U20 match, I would put at least Karasu around here. The big thing is that Karasu was able to hold off Sae, but only for mere seconds, so... But he still had great insight, which is why I'm putting him above Raichi. Because he has the insight over Raichi while still having great body balance, etc. and dueling capabilities. I would also put Tokimitsu above Zentetsu, mostly because we haven't seen much of Zentetsu ever since the first selection. Otoya. I don't fucking know, man. We haven't seen much, but he did get a bit. So you know what? I'll put him above Kunigami at least. This blind mofo. I'll be putting him. If we take in the mental aspect as always, I'll be putting him above Reo. Now you might be wondering, why would you put him above Reo when he hasn't been doing much? The big thing is, Yukimiya isn't playing in his position. He's playing currently as a left back. As I explained in a post or a video, I don't remember, yeah, in my video about the BM11, the thing is that when you're playing as a left back, you don't have that much space to use your dribbling. You're supposed, if you're playing as a traditional left back, for example, you're supposed to link up with your left winger and try to make plays, etc. But the thing is, Yukimiya especially is a dribbler whose pride and power comes from his athleticism. While he has insane ball control, he still relies most heavily on his athleticism to get past opponents. So when you're playing as a left back, you don't have the space to actually use your speed and athleticism. And we even seen it in the Ubers match, when he's linking up with Hiyori and Isagi. The moment he gets the ball, there's already Drago on him. He just doesn't have the space needed. So if you put Yukimiya in the left wing, which is what I'm hoping for at least, as I said in my Best on Michin 11 video, I could 100% see him doing exceptional. He has gotten better at dribbling, he has gotten much more technique, much smarter now in his choices. He could be an incredible winger, even maybe on the level of Shigiri, but more so because he would have the smarts, or at least a bit more. Because the thing is that Shigiri never passes when it's only when it's too late to pass. But for Yukimiya, I think he can probably get a bit smarter about his choices, so he could do well. Kurona. I'll be putting him around here. More than Otoya. Why? Simply impact. Kurona is a bit weird as a side back, mostly because he's a side back who can't defend. Simply, he's just bad at it. That's it. He's just bad at defense. He can do it, but he's not that good. But in terms of link up, we've seen it. He's able to even keep up with Metavision users, not necessarily elevate their ideas, but he's able to keep up. And that's huge. When you have a player who knows what he needs to do, that's insane. In football, and that's why Metavision is such a huge skill and why you need to put respect on players who have it. In such a fast-paced environment such as football, where you don't have time to think, a player like Kurona who's able to know what he needs to do to link up even with great football IQ field players is invaluable, okay? Simply just my goat. I mean, there's a reason why he was my chibi when I started the channel. Nanase. Yeah, just standard U20 player, not much to say. I mean, he's maybe going to make the top 23, so we don't know. I mean, what to say about him? Shit ball control. I mean, Loki said it, and that's even what Isagi highlighted back in the tryouts, so yeah, not much to say. Kiora, I'll put him around here, mostly because we don't know much. We have seen his stats, good stats, but it's all about how you use them, the same way that I talked about for Kaiser. And we've seen him sweat against Igaguri. How, as a man, as a human being, you sweat against Igaguri? I don't know, man. Alvarez Messi, I'll be putting him in, standard U20 player. I mean, he got a bid of like 3 million, so that's something. Mid face-off. Actually, he got a pretty good bid from what I remember, so I'll be putting him in, just standard. This guy didn't get a bid. With this guy, we don't know. I'll just be fuck it. Hey, fuck it. I'll just be putting them all in here. He didn't get a bid too, that guy. Yeah, they're cooked. Sendo. Yeah, I can't put him that high. He scored a goal, but it was a hyena goal. And generally, Sendo is a bit weird as a player because he doesn't have the definite strengths. He works on he does the defensive jobs. He assists. I mean, he's the one who assisted Barrow, for example, for his first goal in the Ubers match. But not outlandish strengths. Nothing that stands out. He's just there. Really. He's just there. But I mean, he's like, for me, in my opinion, I mean, he's like the light-skinned TikTok influencer of vlogs. So if you need to, like, you put the two of them, it's perfect. They're next to each other. You put them together on an ad. They'll do well. You have like Sendo doing a light skin stare. Are you, I don't know, putting the best makeup you can ever see on a man, on him, and yeah, they'll be the commercial of the U20 basically. Let's go with that. Neo, I'll be putting him in standard, mostly because I really like his type of player. But he lacked his strength of like being able to press on people really fast and aggressively is great. The problem is that he hasn't been doing it. In the quick thing we saw of the Manshine match against PXG, we saw that he didn't press as aggressively Rin, even though it was a position where he absolutely needed to do it. He was even taken aback. That's the thing, he was taken aback. So he isn't using his strength, at least from what we've seen, he isn't using his strength correctly in the world stage. So I'll just be putting him in a standard U20 player. The rest of the, yeah, they're just average, the U20 players. I mean, even him, I'll be putting him in mid-phase, so fuck it. He hasn't played, and I don't think he will be playing Neru. I mean, I like his design, so it's kind of sad, but it's just what it is. It is what it is. Yeah, sure. Fukaku, I'll be putting him in, yeah, just standard. But I mean, how the hell did he go for like 5 million, 28 million? I don't know, but because of this, I'll be putting him around here. He at least, he got a bid that high, so he did something for sure. Ness. That's a tough one. I'll be putting him around here. He has the strengths, but once again, the mental is just not there. And but he'll surely, I mean, I'll make a video about that, and I already talked about it in the past video, but he'll surely awaken thanks to Isagi in the PXG match, and maybe even awaken Metavision. And if he does, honestly, if Ness unlocks Metavision, as I think, and he unlocks his ego as a producer, his potential is huge. I could even see him going as far as up here. He's dribbling, he's passing. He is the second best passer we've seen past Sae in the after Sae in Blue Lock, in my opinion. He's dribbling insane. If you like ball, if you like football, Ness would be the type of player you would root for. Ness is quite literally that guy, okay? He's like the... Ness, in my opinion, is the Kevin De Bruyne. Okay, now don't start cooking me in the comments. Don't start cooking me in the comments. But Ness is the closest thing we would get to a Kevin De Bruyne in terms of abilities. In terms of dribbling, his dribbling is a more soft type. He lacks a bit more athleticism, but he's more similar in that sense to me in Kevin De Bruyne in his passing, etc., compared to other players, because he makes passes that ease it up for the striker, whereas Sae's passes are much more aggressive. And similarly, I mean, once again, for Hiyori, we haven't seen much, but Ness, if he unlocks Metavision, would be, in my opinion, the Kevin De Bruyne of... okay. Even just saying it is mad. I'm like, am I crazy? Why am I saying this? But Ness has the potential. That's all I'll say. He has the potential. Please don't start cooking me in the comments. I would appreciate it, okay? I'm just a man. Sharing his thoughts. Grim, I'll be putting him in standard U20 player. I just haven't seen much. He's not first class for sure. No, I'll be putting him in first class, mostly because we have seen great dribbling feats, etc. But the problem is that he's just not being used by the Kaiser system. Agi, I'll be putting him in here, right above Sendo, because I mean we've seen dribbling, height, passing. He pretty much, if we saw more, I'm sure he could do well, insanely well. It's just that, yeah, he's just been fucked by the plot, honestly. Chapa and Charles, where do I put them? I mean, Charles will for sure be close to the world class, because the thing is, as we said before, Rin will surely have metavision. So to be able to link up and ease into Rin's abilities means he has metavision, since otherwise he wouldn't be able to link up, right? To see through the image, to link up with the image of Rin as accurately as he did. So I will be putting him, at least just because he has metavision and he's been able to link up even with the likes of Rin, I would be putting him around here. Because in terms of impact, and this is the thing, when for all of those, I'm putting in their impact. If you put them on the field, what would be their impact as players? Do they have that it factor? And so I'll be putting him, yeah, around here. So in those waters, not above Rin, because Rin is that guy. But I'll be putting him around, yeah, around here seems fine. And for Chapa, we don't know anything. I'll be putting him, oh, what the fuck did I do? Okay, I'll be putting him in like first class or world class. Yeah, world class, I don't know. I like his design. He's like Xavi Simons. I mean, he must be inspired by Xavi Simons. For those who don't know, he's like coming back to PSG. Woohoo! Insane player that's playing at Leipzig. Yeah, Leipzig currently. And he's coming back to Paris. Pop, pop, pop. Pull up. So yeah, I'm just glad to see him. I'll be putting him in. I don't know. I'll be putting him there for the sake of it. I just like his design. And so yeah, we're pretty much done with the tier list now. So let's just go back to explain a bit. First off, Ikaguri speak. And why we're ranking all of those players, we're ranking them based, once again, on their impact and do they have the it factor. So world-class players, they're able to play on the UCL, they're able to play on the World Cup, they have the ability to stand on those stages. World-class of the U20, they're players who could play in pro, do well in pro, but not necessarily be in the best. They would be able to play in pro pretty easily, maybe even play in UCL matches. For example, I could see Sae playing in the UCL matches. I don't know if he would be able to have the it factor inside of them, but he could for sure play really well in UCL matches, for example. And so yeah, the basis is once again Sae. He has shown much more insane feats than anyone else so far in the manga. Lorenzo, insane potential, all-around great player. If Ubers was a bit more offensive driven, the problem is with Lorenzo is that because he had to carry, let's be honest, I'll be honest, if Lorenzo wasn't in Ubers would be a shit team, okay? Lorenzo was meddling with the defense, the offense, the midfield takeover. Lorenzo was carrying Ubers. Let's say you take Lorenzo out of Ubers just isn't winning, okay? So yeah, he if he is able to capitalize off of that, get more football IQ, get a better football IQ, he would be insane as a player. Rin, Metavision, Predator Eye, insane shooting, insane dribbling, trapping, was able to beat Nagin off the ball for trapping. He's that guy. Isagi, insane off the ball, insane football IQ, hasn't developed his senses, which I've made a video about. You can go check it out. It's a bit outdated. I would need to update it, but still, I recommend watching it to see the potential of Isagi's senses and how huge, and I really mean how huge of an upgrade Isagi's senses will be to his playstyle. Barrow, insane finishing, has shown that he has first and foremost, the mentality. That guy, Barrow, is the definition of hard work in Blue Lock, okay? He's just that guy, finishing, dribbling, not defense, but he has great pressing, so he's that guy, yeah. All I can say. I like to shit on the guy, but you can only respect him, honestly. You can only respect him. When it comes to hard work, Charles, we don't know yet. All I know is that he's a Bachira ripoff and worse. Shido, not much to say. We haven't seen much, but he's a freak of nature. That's the best way to put it. He's a freak of nature. IQ has shown that it factor on defense, great reading of the field, athleticism. Kaiser, insane potential, but the mental isn't there. I can't rate him either. I'm sorry to all Kaiser fans, but unless he fixes, if he fixes his mentality and is able to have even half, I'll say it, even half of Isagi's adaptability, he would be currently in the world class. That's the only reason he's not in the world class. Bachira, playmaking, dribbling, long passes, short passes. He just needs that one more touch of finishing to increase his option, as Isagi said when he thought about Rin's curved shot, and he would be insane. Hiyori, haven't seen much of his own individuality yet. Chapa, he's cool, and he's like Xavi Simons, so I'll just put him there. PSG fan, what can I say? Shigiri, potential to be one of the greatest wingers we can see in Blue Lock. Just needs to be more smart about it. Be able to use less of his speed, because he's way too reliant on his speed and his dribbling. He needs to think more, and if he thinks more, he can be insane. Shigiri just doesn't seem to think much when he's playing, so that's his big problem, in my opinion. Yukimiya, just fucked up by the plot. He's just fucked by the plot, honestly. Reo, same thing as Kaiser, mental. Fixes the mental, he would be insane. Kurona, great player all around. Needs to upgrade his finishing, his defense, but it is what it is. I mean, he was kind of shoehorned in to be Isagi's partner until Hiyori came in, so it is what it is. Otoya, who cares? Probably Hesha. Hi Hesha, if you're watching the video. Kunigami, who cares again? Probably Hesha too. But yeah, no, Kunigami, just mental too. Off the ball is great, always having one person on him. Has the shooting, but just mental. He just needs to start trying to work with others, otherwise he'll be leaded nowhere. Nico, Metavision, just needs more time to grow, that's it. Gagamaru, insane potential, needs more experience, similarly to our boy Nico. And he's fucked up bangs. Ness, mental again. Just mental. For most of those guys, it's mental, but that's the thing with Blue Lock. It's all about the mental, right? That's the reason why Isagi is such a great player, because he has even if his abilities aren't the best, because he has the mental to adapt, to not let pride and emotions get in the way. He's just that guy. Agi, fucked up by the plot, similarly to our dear Yukimiya. Sendo, light-skinned TikTok influencer, not much to say. Are you? Yeah, he's there. Needs more experience on the ground, and that'll be good. Fukaku, who cares? Nagi, I'm a bit rough with Nagi, I'll be honest. Yes, I'm sorry, Nagi fans. He still deserves his place. Yeah, he still deserves his place. He has the capabilities, but yeah, let's put him. Yeah, I was a bit too rough on him. I'll be putting him more so around here. Should be good. Yeah, should be good around here. I could rate him a bit higher, but he like, there's a reason. No, but we're taking in the mental. We're taking in the. I'm sorry, yeah, my hater self is talking, but currently he just lacks it. At least the fact that he's with Reo makes it that he can't go further than he can go into the world class. If he was removed from Reo, I don't even know how he would react. Yeah, just in his current state, he can't play. Karasu, haven't seen much. I really want to see my boy shine though. I really need to. It's been a fucking there's nothing, literally. We've been starving, Karasu fans. Raichi needs more football IQ. And yeah, I won't talk about the rest. We don't really care. So yeah, with this, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed especially the analysis I've given on each character. and that it wasn't just like your typical tier list where the guy is just saying, oh yeah, I like this guy, oh wow, look at his feats, without necessarily analyzing the feats, which is what I was trying to do with this video. And so yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and have a great one, fellow egoists.